In 2008, when banks froze, millions of Americans didn't know how to feed themselves without a debit card. The long-term homeless already had it figured out. Every soup kitchen schedule memorized, every dumpster route timed, day labor corners paying $15 an hour in cash. No bank required. 84% of food bank inventory comes from private donations that keep flowing when formal markets collapse. What homeless people know about surviving a total economic breakdown isn't theory. They're already living it. And the survival system they've built is one most preparedness plans completely ignore. A 5-mile radius in most American cities can contain as many as 30 to 50 food pantries, soup kitchens, and church meal programs. For someone living on the street, this isn't just a statistic, it's a mental map built through necessity. Every day starts with a route. The difference between eating and going hungry often comes down to knowing which doors open early, which lines move fastest, and which places serve a second round if you come back after noon. Breakfast windows tend to open between 6 and 9 in the morning at church basements and drop-in centers. Pantries usually restock by midweek, with distribution hours clustered around late afternoon. These schedules aren't random. They're shaped by truck deliveries, volunteer shifts, and the rhythms of donation cycles. 84% of the food that fills these shelves comes from private donors, grocery surplus, bakery overruns, and community drives rather than government aid. That flow keeps moving even when official systems stall. Veterans of the street plan their days around this network. The first stop might be a church kitchen for oatmeal and coffee at dawn. By mid-morning, they're walking to a pantry 2 miles away, arriving just as the delivery truck unloads. Lunch could come from a community center that serves hot meals 3 times a week, always posted on the same bulletin board. Each location is chosen for reliability, not just proximity. Some sites require sign-up sheets or proof of local residency, but many operate on trust and first-come, first-served rules. Those who know the system rarely waste time waiting at a closed door. Instead, they track which agencies stagger their hours, allowing a full day's meals to be pieced together with minimal backtracking. Mapping this grid isn't about luck, it's a survival discipline, one that anyone can learn. The United Nations recommends a 5-mile travel limit for regular food access. Beyond that, usage drops sharply. For the long-term homeless, that means keeping vital resources within walking distance, memorizing not just addresses, but opening times and the unwritten etiquette of each site. In a collapse, this kind of local intelligence is more valuable than cash. The formal economy might freeze, but the meal network built on redundancy and private giving keeps moving. The lesson is clear. The first step to surviving without money is to build a personal map of every free meal within reach, treating the city not as a dead zone, but as a living resource grid. A formal food route can unravel in hours. A storm, a delivery delay, or a single missed shipment can close every pantry in a zip code. That is when backup systems step in. Dumpster diving and urban foraging are not acts of desperation for those who know the terrain. They are parallel supply lines built on timing, local law, and a practiced sense for what is safe to eat. Grocery stores and bakeries discard unsold bread, produce, and dairy right after closing. The prime window is just before sunrise, after staff have finished but before garbage trucks arrive. In cities like Los Angeles and Chicago, local ordinances allow scavenging from unlocked curbside dumpsters if nothing is left behind. Locked bins or posted signs mean private property. Trespassing fines can reach $500 in San Francisco. The rule is, if it is on public ground and unmarked, it is fair game. Always check the city code. Safety is the first rule. Only sealed packages or unbroken produce make the cut. Anything above 40 degrees Fahrenheit for more than 2 hours, especially meat or dairy, stays behind. Divers use insulated bags, moving fast to keep food cold and clean. The USDA guidelines are clear. When in doubt, throw it out. Bread, canned goods, and raw vegetables are the safest bets. Often edible days pass their sell-by date if handled right. Beyond dumpsters, city parks and empty lots offer another layer. 4 plants, dandelion, clover, plantain, and wild onion grow in nearly every urban patch. Dandelion leaves, jagged and milky, are best before flowering. Clover shows white blossoms and a three-leaf pattern. Plantain hugs the ground with broad-ribbed leaves. Wild onion reveals itself with a sharp scent. Each is edible raw or cooked, but caution matters. Avoid harvesting near heavy traffic or sprayed lawns. Rinse greens thoroughly and limit intake from roadside patches, following EPA advice. Local guides and forager networks share updates on safe zones and recent spraying. This toolkit, knowing the timing, the rules, and what is edible, turns waste and wild growth into a steady backup when formal food systems break down. Street corners outside hardware stores, paint suppliers, and garden centers become job markets at sunrise. Here, the handshake economy moves fast. Contractors pull up, roll down a window, and call out for labor. No resumes, no applications, just a quick negotiation, and you are in the back of a pickup with three strangers heading to a site. The pay is cash, handed over at the end of the shift, $15 to $18 an hour in most cities, sometimes more if the weather is rough or the job is urgent. A full 8-hour day means walking away with $120 to $144 in your pocket. But even a 2-hour stint can cover a basic food pack, which costs about $35 and keeps a single adult fed for 3 days. For someone who just lost housing, this is not theory. It is the first real test. The time from waking up on a bus bench to eating a hot meal can shrink to a matter of hours if you know where the labor pools form. In Los Angeles, day laborers cluster near Sepulveda and Victory. In Chicago, it is the parking lot behind the old Home Depot. New arrivals learn quickly. Show up early, bring gloves, and do not haggle unless you know the going rate. The regulars watch out for each other, warning about bad bosses or jobs that do not pay. Word spreads fast when someone gets stiffed. Most shifts are short, 2 or 3 hours, enough to fund the day's food and maybe a bus pass. The work is hard, hauling concrete, digging ditches, unloading pallets. But the money is immediate and untraceable, immune to bank freezes or digital outages. The recently homeless describe this as a crash course in survival math. Every hour worked translates directly into calories, water, or a night indoors. There is no waiting for a paycheck or worrying about an account balance. In a world where the formal economy has stalled, this is what resilience looks like. Knowing how to turn sweat into cash and cash into the next meal, all before noon. A prepper commentator sets the challenge. Survive 48 hours using only what you can earn from discarded cans and bottles. The rules are simple. No bank cards, no digital wallets, no help from friends. Only your feet, your hands, and the city's waste stream. In states with deposit laws, each aluminum can or PET bottle is worth 5 to 10 cents. That's not theory, it's statute. Michigan, California, New York, Connecticut, Oregon, and a few others pay out at redemption centers. In California, the California Redemption Value Program puts a dime in your pocket for every qualifying container. Elsewhere, the rate drops, but the principle holds. Every can is a coin. On a good day, a focused collector can gather between 500 and 1,000 cans. Stadium parking lots after a game, busy intersections, and the alleys behind apartment buildings are prime territory. The math is hard to ignore. At 10 cents a can, 500 cans is $50. Push to 1,000 and you're holding $100 in cash by sundown. Even at the lower end, 5 cents per can, a day's haul can cover food, water, and a few bus rides. These aren't guesses. Outreach case studies from New York and San Francisco document average yields of 600 to 800 containers per shift, with some veterans topping 1,000 on event nights. Sorting and bagging is part of the routine. Redemption centers require cans to be clean of liquid and sorted by type. Most collectors carry gloves, a multi-use cart, and heavy-duty bags. The rhythm becomes automatic. Scan for glints of metal, check for local restrictions, move fast. Private property is off limits. Trespassing fines can wipe out a day's earnings. Public bins, curbside piles, and event trash are fair game in most cities, as long as you don't leave a mess behind. The commentator's drill isn't just about cash. In a collapse, every extra dollar buys leverage. Cans become barter chips, traded for food, hygiene supplies, or a place to sleep. The act of collecting is more than scavenging, it's micro-enterprise. Veterans diversify. cans for quick cash, scrap metal for higher single payouts, bottles for trading. The lesson is clear. When formal jobs vanish, the city's waste stream becomes a predictable, repeatable income source. The only variable is hustle. On the street, value is measured by what can be used, consumed, or traded immediately. The most reliable currencies aren't dollars. They are the goods people reach for when cash means nothing or can't be trusted. Cigarettes top every list, functioning as a universal barter item. A single pack can trade for a hot meal, a pair of socks, or even temporary shelter. Alcohol, especially beer or small bottles of spirits, comes next. It's not just for escape, it's a morale booster and a social bridge, often exchanged for food or warm clothing. Transit passes hold surprising power. In cities with robust bus or subway networks, a single ride ticket or day pass can be swapped for several meals or traded for bulk canned goods. Mobility is survival, and those passes open up access to distant resources or safer sleeping spots. Hygiene items, soap, toothpaste, deodorant, and especially feminine care products are always in demand. Shelters and public restrooms rarely supply enough, making these items high-value trade chips. A travel-sized toothpaste or a pack of wet wipes can be worth more than a full meal in the right moment. Warm clothing such as socks, gloves, and hats becomes critical as temperatures drop. A new pair of socks can command a week's worth of canned food in winter. Bottled water and sports drinks are equally valuable during heat waves, sometimes more valuable than food altogether. Prepaid phone cards, chargers, and even basic cell phones are another form of currency, enabling contact with family, access to emergency services, or coordination of day labor. These items aren't chosen at random. Each is portable, immediately useful, and hard to steal in bulk. The street economy runs on what can be carried and consumed, not on promises or IOUs. Building a barter kit means stocking what people actually want: cigarettes, alcohol, transit passes, hygiene products, warm clothing, bottled water, and phone minutes. These are the tangible assets that hold real value when formal systems break down. A trade on the street rarely begins with a direct offer. Instead, it starts with a read. Watching for body language, listening for what is not being said. A veteran trader spots someone fidgeting with an empty lighter and knows there is a need for cigarettes. The first step is simple: state your own need or offer, never both at once. For example, someone might say, "I've got an extra pair of socks," or "I'm looking for a hot meal." This opens the door without revealing desperation. The next move is the negotiation. Here, reputation is currency. If you are known for clean trades, never shortchanging, never pushing spoiled goods, your word carries weight. Studies from New York encampments show that regulars who keep their promises close deals twice as often as newcomers. The $20 kit drill is a common test. Offer a small, high-value item, like a travel-size hygiene kit or a pack of cigarettes, and see if the other person reciprocates with something of similar value. If the trade is fair, trust builds. If not, word spreads fast and future deals dry up. Closing the deal is about clarity. Both sides restate what is being exchanged, then hand over items at the same time. No one walks away until both parties are satisfied. This three-step pattern, read, need, or offer, close, protects against misunderstandings and scams. On the street, every trade is a test of character as much as barter. Reputation capital is built one deal at a time, and in a world where formal contracts mean nothing, it is the only contract that matters. The lesson is trust. It is earned transaction by transaction, and a reputation for fairness is the surest way to keep your kit full and your options open. Blending in is a learned skill, not an accident. On the street, standing out, whether through bright colors, flashy shoes, or loud conversation, draws attention from police, thieves, and anyone looking for an easy target. Clothing psychology studies have shown that muted earth tones, layered basics, and non-branded outerwear lower the chances of being noticed or remembered. Experienced survivors choose grays, browns, and faded blues, avoiding anything with reflective strips or oversized logos. The goal is to move through public space without leaving a mental trace. Footwear matters just as much. Scuffed sneakers or work boots in neutral colors signal nothing of value. Backpacks are kept small, worn high on the back, and never overstuffed. Outer layers are chosen for function, not fashion. Water-resistant, easy to clean, and quick to dry. Even accessories are strategic. A plain baseball cap, a cheap watch, no jewelry. This is the gray man discipline, a form of personal camouflage that reduces risk and buys time. Behavior follows the same logic. Keep your head down, walk with purpose but not urgency, and avoid eye contact unless absolutely necessary. Never linger in one spot for too long, and never display cash or valuables in public. If you need to clean up, day passes at budget gyms, often $10 to $15, provide access to showers, lockers, and sometimes laundry facilities. These spaces offer a rare chance to reset without drawing suspicion. Gym hygiene isn't just about staying clean, it's about maintaining a low profile and avoiding the stigma that comes with visible neglect. Every adjustment, down to the color of your socks, serves the same end: staying invisible, staying safe, and keeping options open in a world where being noticed can close doors. The art of not being seen is a daily practice, and for those living without a safety net, it's as essential as food or shelter. A city's official safety net is often invisible to those who never needed it. For someone living on the street, these public systems become essential infrastructure, mapped, tested, and used daily. The 211 hotline stands at the center. Dialing 211 connects you to a live operator trained to route calls for food, shelter, medical care, and crisis support. Operators keep real-time databases of every pantry, overnight shelter, and walk-in clinic within reach. In a collapse, when digital apps go dark and official websites freeze, that voice on the other end becomes a lifeline. According to service capacity studies, 211 handles more than 20 million calls a year, but surveys show most people with stable housing have never used it. For those surviving outside, it is often the first number memorized after losing a phone or identification. Libraries serve as more than quiet refuges. They are climate-controlled rest stops, information hubs, and charging stations. In 2022, over 85% of U.S. libraries offered unrestricted restroom access and free Wi-Fi, making them vital for anyone without a home. Many branches open early and close late, with librarians quietly guiding regulars toward job listings, legal aid, or the day's free meal schedule. A single library card can unlock access to computers, printers, and sometimes even community lockers or hygiene kits. During heat waves or blackouts, these buildings double as ad hoc shelters, listed by city disaster plans as critical safe zones. Public clinics and mobile health vans fill another gap. Federally funded community health centers treat anyone with or without insurance, and mobile clinics reach encampments on a weekly schedule in many cities. In 2021, more than 1.5 million people received free dental or medical care through these channels. The daily planning loop for a veteran survivor often starts with a call to 211, a visit to the library for updates, and a walk past a clinic sandwich board to check hours. Each stop is a node on a personal service grid, one that remains stable even when banks close. ATMs run dry and the formal economy falters. Knowing how to map and use these public resources is as critical as any skill in the street toolkit. Most Americans trust that digital payments, stocked shelves, and working institutions will always be there until the day they are not. Survival, when systems fail, demands skills that homeless people already use, such as mapping public resources, trading outside currency, and reading risk in every encounter. As economic shocks grow less predictable, the knowledge built on the streets becomes less an exception and more a blueprint. Adaptation favors those who prepare before the collapse. Share your perspective below.